Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the final episode of Once Upon a Time Rinpoche for this year. All right, so this is going to be the final episode, and today is going to be about Kechara Forest Retreat. So, as usual, before we begin, let me just log on first to see who is on and make sure I'm on mute. All right. So, good evening to whoever's online, Jeffrey. And okay, I don't see anyone else except a lot of hearts. Hello, Jerry. Good evening. I'm waiting for more people to come on. All right, so we will be. From tentative plans at the moment, we will be going to have this program carrying on next year, and but we probably would have some revamps on the timing and all that. You just keep your ears and eyes peeled and see what's going to come. All right, for next year. Okay, I see a bunch of people now. Mr. Lam, good evening. Esther, waiting. Andrew Nugroho Cianando, good evening. Thank you for your story, Andrew. It was beautiful. It was interesting. It was paranormal. It was fantastic, and I learned something new about, from Indonesia. Thank you for sharing. All right. So today's topic, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be about Kechara Forest Retreat. All right. So how I'm going to begin would be like this. For all the great masters, all the great teachers of the past. All right. Hi, Jensen. Hi, Jillian. Good evening to you. All of the great masters, all of the disciples, followers of the Buddha from since the time of the Buddha till now, okay, had put a lot of emphasis on the preservation of the teachings, on the preservation of the Buddha Dharma, meaning the Buddha's teachings, because, well, we want to benefit people. Because part of being a Buddhist, part of being, a part of follow the Buddha's way is to benefit others, is to bring light, to shed light or wisdom of the Buddha to sentient beings, to all beings. All right. So in order to do that, one has to have the proper means to do so. So, I mean, yes, the Buddha taught, and first of all, the Buddha didn't write everything down. He did not. So what was taught by the Buddha was remembered by his disciples. All right. So the disciples of the Buddha remembered the teachings because many of the Buddha's disciples achieved liberation upon hearing the Buddha's teachings. All right. So when they achieve liberation, and one of the signs, one of the abilities of that attainment is that they have perfect memory. So they're able to recite the Buddha's teachings word for word, and that's exactly what they did. Eventually, the amount of disciples who can remember the teachings word for word, verbatim, was becoming lesser and lesser and lesser as more of the disciples passed away, and the next generation didn't have the same attainments. Many of them don't have the same attainments, so they're unable to retain the knowledge. And so they realized it was important for the preservation of the teaching. So what happened was there was 3 great Buddhist councils, and during that time, what they did was they recited everything they have learned from the Buddha from memory, in perfect memory. So that's why at the beginning of these kind of retelling of the Buddhist teachings was called, it starts with, "Thus have I heard." So it begins like this because it's a recollection of the Buddha's teachings. So it was told and it was recorded down for the very first time, and that was how the Buddha's teachings was preserved orally into the written word. So that began the first generation of teachings and sutras and scriptures. All right, so preservation of the Buddha's teachings begin this way. One of the ways is this way. Another way is that the disciples begin to have to teach. They have to be a light unto themselves, as the Buddha said. All right, so in order to do that, they have to have a proper place in order to do that. A proper monastery was founded. Great monasteries was founded in India during the Buddha's lifetime and after the Buddha's lifetime. All right, so an institution was founded in order to preserve the teachings. All right, that was the purpose of it. Just give me a moment now. This video is like, yeah. So this is where I begin my story, in the sense of now go back to today, to our example, Kechara Forest Retreat. Because Rinpoche realized that there was a lot of, there are many aspects of our lineage and our teachings they're preserved in a few places, okay? And especially our tradition stems from the great Lama Tsongkhapa, who founded Ganden Monastery. And actually the monastery itself, Ganden Monastery, was founded to preserve the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa. It was founded by his disciple and offered to Lama Tsongkhapa to be his monastic seat. All right, so that was what Ganden Monastery is. And over time, it grew with importance and with its ability to produce many scholars and many students, great scholars, great masters, and that was what it is. In order to preserve the teachings, it's important to create followers of the Buddhas, of course, and as well as teachers who are able to disseminate the Dharma. So that's what an institution like Ganden is for our lineage. And then Rinpoche said, for himself, for Kechara himself, Rinpoche wished to preserve specifically our lineage, specifically within our lineage, specifically practices like doji shukdens. Because there are not many other places that do so. There are many other places that preserve Lama Tsongkhapa's lineage, but not specifically on the doji shukden lineage. All right, I almost went into a lisp, doji shukden. So that was one of Rinpoche's plans for Kechara Forest Retreat. So in order to do that, in order to have an institution, it's not building the buildings. The building of the buildings, finding location is part of it. It is important, but ultimately it's both. It is what's more important than the buildings is actually the people, the disciples, the followers of Tsem Rinpoche, of doji shukden, practitioners of doji shukden, practitioners of Lama Tsongkhapa, to carry on the lineage. As practitioners, as pastors like myself, Pastor Neral, and many of the pastors, to teach, to share, to continue the lineage, at least to hold the torch, at the very least, until we find Rinpoche's incarnation. So that's what Kechara Forest Retreat is founded, and the purpose continues in this way. Then along the way, of course, it's not just for the lineage, it is to benefit all beings. So there's many aspects. Rinpoche's vision of any major work or decision or project that he comes in mind when it comes to Dharma is developed by Rinpoche in order to benefit anybody, all beings, on many levels. So how does Kechara Forest Retreat benefit so many people? It can benefit people in a sense of, I've just said it in one way, which is preserve the lineage. Then there's ways that Kechara Forest Retreat is benefiting people. For example, just within for the very fact that it's a temple, for the very fact that it's beautiful. Rinpoche specifically made it planned for Kechara Forest Retreat to be beautiful. It's not just a Spartan zinc roof, very simple design for people to come, and then it's a holy land. We just convince people that it's a holy land, and they come, and that's it. So Rinpoche had developed the place and a sense of the landscape, of the trees, of the plants, of even the temple, and the look and the feel and the colors to be pleasing to the eyes, to the senses. So when they come here, not everybody is psychic, not everybody can feel, the energy of doji student, the energy of Tsem Rinpoche, the energy of the Buddhas. Not everybody can feel that. But they definitely can feel when the place is beautiful, the place is calm in the sense of natural nature, trees, so they definitely can feel that. So Kechara Forest Retreat definitely is developed by Rinpoche on that level, to attract people. All right? To attract people on that. If you have any questions, do ask me. This is your last chance for this year. It can be about the topic, or it doesn't have to be topic. Of course, make it dharmic lah. Don't ask me samsara questions. I may not be able to help you in samsara, but I may be able to help you if it's dharmic. To a certain level, of course. I don't know everything anyway. So, so that's what happened. So my point in this, I haven't finished the point. That I'll get to your question, Mr. Lam. My point is that it is pleasing, it's very beautiful, it is to attract people to come, and it is, Rinpoche had developed it, and it's not just to disseminate Buddhism or Dharma. It is to create a holistic environment, to be a place where people learn about all sorts of holistic things. Hence, we have inner peace, we have all sorts of programs that is not directly our lineage, not directly, more hardcore Dharma or very very advanced Dharmic practices and retreats and all that. It is that and more. All right. So a lot of people come here to experience Kechara Forest Retreat. Some people come here not even for the Dharma or for any, they just come here to take pictures. They come here to maybe for a holiday. They come here passing by, because it's beautiful and it looks inviting. So what happens is, what's the additional purpose is when they come here, just looking at the Buddha plants blessings in their minds. Just looking at the Buddha statue, Doji Shukten, the Buddha Shakyamuni, Lama Tsongkhapa, Manjushri, Medicine Buddha, Nageshwaraja, the Buddha just outside of Enchanted Forest Retreat. All these Buddhas, or Loma Gyoma, or Jampel Nagaraksha, Manjushri Nagaraksha, any of these Buddhas, when they just see that it plants blessings in their minds. This is not Tsem Rinpoche, this is not mentioned by Tsem Rinpoche, this is mentioned by the Buddha. As long as it's even just as simple as a line drawing, when you look on it, and it is correct proportion, correct iconography, will plant blessings in our mind streams. We may or may not realize it, it doesn't matter. Okay, so what happens is once it's implanted, these people, they will come and they will go. Hundreds will come, thousands will come, they will come and they will go. They get the blessings and they go. And once they get the blessings, what happens is it will benefit them in the future life. Many of them will not see the benefit. Maybe they will never come across Dharma, or they do come across Dharma, but they will never practice. Some they come, they will constantly seek Dharma, but they will never sincerely practice because they don't have the karma for it. But the seeds have been planted, so it will fruition. It will fruition. Most of the time will not be this life, sometimes in future lives, but it is there. If you have no seed, no cause for practicing Dharma, you will never practice the Dharma. This is how karma works. All right. So that was the other purpose in how to benefit people. So it's kind of like for someone. I remember someone mentioned it's kind of like a numbers game. So the great majority, maybe 80 to 90%, will never actually practice the Dharma, but the causes have been planted. It will benefit them, and this is a practice of compassion. So they will practice in the future, and the courses are started by us in Kechara. All right. So there'll be a 10%, 15%, maybe 20%. they'll be attracted to the Dharma, and it will spark something in them, and they will pursue their Dharma practice. All right, so this is the additional thing that Kechara Forest Retreat was developed in order to benefit all beings. And I mean, what we're talking about, just human beings. We're not even talking about the animals, the stray dogs. We have a few. We have a 3 resident stray dog, Tara, Sunny Boy, and Nakmo. Yeah, and more. And then kittens and insects and birds, and there's all sorts of and snakes these days. So yeah, a lot of them, they come and they will, many of them will go around the statues, and seeds of the Buddha Dharma will be planted in their mind stream. They'll be benefited. And then also on top of that, we have unseen beings on this land. They come and they go, or they are resident here, and they'll be blessed. All right. So there's many levels to what Kechara Forest Retreat benefit people. All right. Okay, let me see. Mr. Lam, oops. You mentioned, sorry, it jumped. Where's the question again? Okay, here it goes. Mr. Lam, you asked, how is Kechara Forest Retreat and KWPC related? I remember that many years ago, KWPC was envisioned by Rinpoche himself. However, I thought that KWPC somehow turned into Kechara. You're right, it did turn into Kechara. KWPC was Rinpoche's original plan for a different piece of land, somewhere in Janabike. And what happened was, this is going to be on a bit of the mystical side as well as practical side. We had a lot of obstacles in getting the permits, and it stretched the timeline too long. So Rinpoche said the window of opportunity for KWPC, it came to a point where it was over. So what happened was it has to be somewhere else, someplace else. And Rinpoche didn't say, somewhere else. He said that for KWPC itself, the karma for it was over, and it has to be, something else have to be done. So Rinpoche eventually said we needed another place. So this is where KFR was founded. And whatever plans was kind of transplanted over to Kechara Forest Retreat, and it was renamed Kechara Forest Retreat. So it is an extension of KWPC, but the original plan for KWPC, I mean, the actual land itself is not, it's kind of transplanted, I would say. Yeah. So it's kind of like, as you said, turned into KFR. Sharon Ong says, KFR is also a piece of inner and outer healing. Correct. Okay, which I will go on to also talk about the healing part, right? The things that Rinpoche did here that to make this place not just blessed, also healing, and the energies that it was involved. Okay, let me see. Marcus, you said, I read somewhere in Rinpoche's blog that KFR has been visualized as being a mandala of Vajrayogini of some sort, and to act as a portal to Vajrayogini's actual paradise. Okay, this is something that Rinpoche has envisioned for a place like Kechara Forest Retreat, and Kechara in general. Not just Kechara Forest Retreat, but Kechara Forest Retreat will be the main place, but in general, Kechara itself is a portal for people to Kechara Paradise, to Vajrayogini. Why? Just look at the name, Kechara. What is Kechara? Kechara is the name of Vajrayogini's pure land, her pure realm. So just looking at the logo, the name, and every time we say the name, Rinpoche said, plants blessings in our minds. For us to achieve Vajrayogini, to receive an initiation, to gain her practice, to be successful in our meditations, to hold our commitments well, be successful in our practice, and gain attainments through our practice, and eventually ascending to Kechara Paradise. And when they say ascend to Kechara Paradise, doesn't necessarily mean just going to Kechara Paradise, or taking rebirth there, but also meaning to become enlightened. There's two types of meaning of going to Kechara Paradise. One meaning is our mind go to Kechara Paradise, meaning we become enlightened. Or one is that we haven't become enlightened yet, but we have achieved enough to be able to ascend to a pure land and to continue our practice there. Okay, so the whole of Kechara is designed for that, and as a portal, as you said. All right. So good evening, Kanun, Mr. Kanun. Okay, Andrew Nugroho Sihananto says, thank you for your appreciation, Pastor. In Indonesia, we call something like Kechara pastors as Romo Ramani Pandita, the lay peoples who lead pujas in Vihara. Oh, nice. I didn't know that. But I still have a question. Why Rinpoche have no students from Sangha under him? Why he only picked pastors to continue his lineage? There is, Andre, there is people under Rinpoche that Rinpoche had in plan to be Sangha. All right? But Rinpoche does not want to rush students because it's a lifetime commitment of being a Sangha. It's not something, a 5-year thing or a 1-year thing. It is a whole life commitment. So he wants to make sure that the students who are going to be Sangha to be prepared. So we have pastors who are on the pathway to becoming ordained, fully as an ordained Sangha, and they wear all white, and they have their heads shaven, and that is in preparation. So actually, as long as they hold the commitments and they are dressed accordingly, they're on their pathway to ordination. So at the moment, because a lot of things are happening in the last few years, because Rinpoche had entered parinirvana, and also we have the pandemic, and we also have the stupa, and our priority is actually to complete the stupa as soon as possible. And hopefully, and the pandemic, when it's over, when travel is more conducive, then something can happen with having students to be ordained. So there is plans, and there are people very committed towards this path. All right. And yeah, there was something I wanted to say. Okay, Kechara Forest Retreat. During the time when it was discovered, right? So what happened was when we were, there was when we were looking, they were looking for different people, certain places to establish Kechara Forest Retreat. It wasn't called Kechara Forest Retreat yet. It was a place that Rinpoche wanted to develop his plans for Kechara Forest Retreat. So what happened was when the place, this exact piece of land that I'm on right now, I'm in KFR right now, by the way. When it was founded, when Rinpoche first came with a bunch of students to have a look at it, there was a sign. It was a symbol. It was just it was a side of the road, and they were looking into the land, and it was at the gate. The land had a makeshift gate, and Rinpoche was there, and Rinpoche made a prayer to doji student. Okay, so he made a prayer. If this is the piece, if this is the land, please show some signs, because if the place looked promising. What Rinpoche liked about Kechara Forest Retreat, besides the fact that it's quite flat, it's easy to build. Relatively flat, not very flat, but relatively flat, easier to build than the previous location. The other thing was, it was not too far from the city and not too near the city, and not too urban and not too remote. Because why is this is ideal is because he was looking at us students. All right. So what happens is we are somewhere halfway, midpoint between. You see, when we want to engage in practices, when we want to build a place that is an institution. So what happens is there's a lot of coming and going, and bringing of resources and attracting people to come. And so what happens if it's too far? There'll be a lot of resources needed to transport people, to transport things, and also with regards to students, most of Rinpoche students lived in urban areas, and then for them to go to a really far remote place to transplant themselves will be an issue as well. So it was just right in midpoint, not too far, not too near. So it was conducive for us, for the practitioners. All right. And hence the place was founded, and there was a sign, because when Rinpoche made the prayer, I mentioned earlier, there was a light rain. Rinpoche told us that time. I remember Rinpoche told me, and a bunch of students. I wasn't there, unfortunately. I wish I was there, but I was not. So there was a light rain, and the moment they finished, it stopped. And then Rinpoche said, "Look, it's a sign." It was so obvious because the rain was not heavy. It was just a very light rain. And with Rinpoche around, there's always this kind of signs. And because Rinpoche just stated very, very honestly and very humbly that it's not because he's anything special. It's because that Rinpoche feels that it's because his wish to benefit others is sincere, and his samaya with his guru and the protector is clean. Okay, so that's what it is. So because when the samaya and the protector, the guru and the protector is clean, so signs from the protector is very easy to come by, and the help and assistance from the protector is also very easy. So, but for Rinpoche, it's not just the samaya and the protector; it's also the students, because he's working with us. And this is not for Rinpoche. It's not for Rinpoche alone. It's for all of us. It's actually for us. Rinpoche, this whole place is founded for the disciples and for all who would come here to be benefited one way or another. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, this is from Jensen. Hi, Pastor David. Is initiation or empowerment given in Kechara? If yes, what are the common ones? Thank you. Jensen, thank you very much for your question. There is no initiation and empowerment given in Kechara. In the past, Rinpoche had not given much initiations and empowerments because Rinpoche feels that it's important for people to know the Dharma, to know the Lamrim, to know the three principal aspects of the path, to know mind training teachings first, and then prepare the students along the way. Actually, the foundation for these practices is the Lamrim, three principal paths. If we don't even know what these teachings are, and they're not simple teachings. It's quite extensive, and it requires us to know these things before we go into, because ultimately we want to gain attainments. Okay, this is what Rinpoche focus on. Attainments are derived from the teachings. The practices is just an added benefit to aid our quick transformation. All right. So perhaps in the future, empowerments are only given by a qualified master, a qualified guru, a qualified master. Rinpoche was one of them, and perhaps in the future, his future incarnation, or whatever plans later on. All right. So right now, our focus is not so much as empowerments, is to find Rinpoche's incarnation. But thank you for your question. Okay, Eric. Pastor David, why could KFR don't have activity that to open for the public to become a monk or nun for a short term? Can be like 3 days, 1 week, or maybe 1 month. That's a very good idea. Rinpoche had considered that idea, that prospect for the future. But at the moment, our program is more to be a permanent monk. All right. To be honest, in the Tibetan tradition, there's no part-time monks and nuns. They don't have this tradition. This is something from the Thai tradition. But Rinpoche liked the idea. He liked the idea, and but at the moment, we don't have this program. So at the moment, what we do have is we have programs for retreats. Let people have a feel of doing retreats first. Okay, if you can't even go through a 3 days, don't even have much experience, then the monk thing will be, something will be, it'll be just as difficult. So doing retreats, you'll be experiencing something like being a monk for 3 days, for 2 days. We're going to have a Tsongkhapa retreat next month, and so if you want to feel what it's like to be a monk, come for 3 days. Without calling a monk program, you experience it, because basically what's a monk or nun do? The monk or nun is not just so much as do Dharma work and just have a hair shaven and just some ceremony. It is to do Dharma. It is to do formal Dharma, formal practice, which is like a retreat. So without calling a monk program, a retreat is just similar. No difference. All right. So perhaps in the future, but we're not qualified to do it from ourselves, because we'll see how the program goes. But at the moment, we don't have any program. Andrew, Pastor David, I want to ask something. If Lama Tsongkhapa is second Buddha in our time, then what is Guru Rinpoche? Okay, it's like this. We are followers of Lama Tsongkhapa. Okay, followers of Lama Tsongkhapa because we are following his tradition. So because we are followers of his tradition, we view him as like the second Buddha. The original is Buddha Shakyamuni. He will always be the number one because he established Buddha Dharma in our world at this time. Okay, so the second will be in our tradition, the founder of our tradition is Lama Tsongkhapa, and so we view him as the second Buddha because his elucidation of the Buddha's teachings is second to the Buddha for us. Okay, for us followers of Lama Tsongkhapa, this view may not be held by for followers of other traditions like the Nyingma, like the Kagyu, and so forth. The other traditions. So don't be hang up about everybody must view it the same way. Not necessarily. This is a view held by us followers of Lama Tsongkhapa, the Gelug practitioners. All right, because of the effectiveness of his teachings, the profundity of his teachings, the profundity as in the profound profundity of his lineage. All right, so that's what it is. So Guru Rinpoche for other traditions for them may be the second Buddha. All right, so our lineage was not founded by Guru Rinpoche. Our tradition founded by Lama Tsongkhapa. And by the way, Lama Tsongkhapa is in the same mind stream of Guru Rinpoche. It was Guru Rinpoche, Nagarjuna, Guru Rinpoche, and Lama Tsongkhapa in that order. All right, Nagarjuna, right? It's Nagarjuna. Oh, sorry, it's Atisha. Sorry, Atisha. Sorry, my mistake. Thank you, Pastor Niral. He is behind the camera here. He corrected me. So it was Atisha, Guru Rinpoche, and Lama Tsongkhapa. All right. So Kechara Forest Retreat. What I wanted to say is that in order for the land to have its effect on the occupants, the people who come here, to do retreats, to gain blessings, to gain healing, because healing is something that Rinpoche envisioned for this place, to be healing of the body and of the mind. So what happens was a lot of pujas were done on this land. Not by us. I mean, we were doing pujas as well. I was also one of the person, I remember in the earlier days, I did a lot of pujas on Rinpoche's advice for, not specifically, no, it is for the land, sorry. It was, I had to do a lot of Kalarupa pujas for the land. It was when I was with Rinpoche in Kechara Forest Retreat in the earlier days. And it was every day. I had to do it every single day while I was with Rinpoche during the time when we were doing construction work. So staying in cabins, and I had to do it every single day. It was an instruction from Rinpoche for the land to overcome, to purify, or rather to purify our obstacles during the construction. Actually, specifically the people here. Okay, the people here who was doing the work, because Samaya is very important, and also the negative karma that arises because of the benefit that's going to come from this piece of land. All right. So what happens is, the pujas I was talking about is not my puja specifically. It's actually more of the pujas that the monks came. Rinpoche had requested the monks to come, and Zara Rinpoche was one of them. When he came, he did a series of pujas, a number of pujas, and 5 pujas on throughout the land, ranging from doji, peaceful, fire puja, raffle fire puja, raffle fire puja, Vajragini pujas. Even the Vajragini stupa, before it was built, there was a fire puja there to consecrate the land and imbue the place with Vajragini's energy. So there was Genzei, there was various types of pujas. Shitse, fire puja. It's always done fire puja way. No, it's always fire pujas. You know, and a number of fire pujas. Even Chojela, as in the Panglong oracle, when he came, he was also requested by Rinpoche because he's a pure monk, and so he's very qualified to do pujas. And also, quite a lot of monks, when they came, they did a number of pujas. So to consecrate the land, and then in the earlier days, all right, to consecrate the land, to imbue it with the energy, and the final. I mean, this is on top of Rinpoche's own blessings when he was here. Rinpoche did a lot of pujas himself, doji shukin pujas, and his own practices. That, of course, he kept it secret. I remember once on Manjushri Hill, there was a time when Rinpoche wanted to do a number of pujas, and I was there, and I remember Rinpoche did the pujas. I did not recognize the puja, and I suspect it was Heruka, but of course Rinpoche would not tell us. And when Rinpoche did the pujas, there was a time where he asked me to assist him to the ledge. Because the hill, there's a ledge, and then before you come down, to the valley, right, where apartments is. So on top of Manjushri Hill. Also, Rinpoche did the puja. We set up the tent in case it rained. We did the altar, and Rinpoche did the puja. And halfway during the puja, it was raining a bit. Rinpoche went to the ledge. There was a tent still. It was still within the cover of the tent, and Rinpoche started reciting a lot of mantras, which I suspect is Heruka, but I cannot tell for sure because I don't know Heruka's mantra, but it's my suspicion. So Rinpoche recited and he blew onto the land. And that's what I remember in the earlier days. Just early days, okay, before even the monks came. And there was construction going on. And Rinpoche did it at night. And then when we finished. And also, Rinpoche used to walk all over the land. There was one time when during the construction, Rinpoche got stuck in the mud. Okay, I wasn't there that time, but there were other people and there were pictures actually. When Rinpoche got stuck in the mud, his shoe was stuck in it as well. When we removed Rinpoche's leg from the mud, the shoe was left in there. And they couldn't get it out because it was the more, when it's too much mud, it's kind of like quicksand. So the more they tried to get it, it sunk deeper and deeper in. So they never managed to retrieve Rinpoche's shoe. So Rinpoche said it's all right. At the end, Rinpoche said it's all right. No need to look for the shoe anymore because it's a good omen. It's a blessing for the piece of land, for the Lama's shoe to be. Rinpoche would say this. Things like that because we don't understand the significance of such things. So Rinpoche will have to explain it to us. It's an auspicious thing for the shoe of the Lama, because in the past the shoe of the Lama we place the lowest part of the Lama is placed on our head. This is according to Indian tradition as a blessing for us. So the Lama's shoe, the Guru's shoe, is considered a blessing for us. All right. Because that's the lowest part of the Lama, so we're below the Lama. Okay, it's a measure of respect. And so what happened was, so the shoe was never found, and Rinpoche explained to us, and the way Rinpoche said it was very humble, as usual, because when Rinpoche explains such things, because there's no one else who would understand such occurrences, so Rinpoche had to explain it, and when he explained from a third person perspective, meaning, the Lama's shoe, as in, that's not my shoe, my shoe is a blessing. Rinpoche never referred to his shoe or any part of him or anything he does that benefits people or blesses. He always refer, because in order to educate us, we still need to know. So Rinpoche had to explain to us. So Rinpoche would refer to himself as the Lama or the Guru, like a third person, like it's not him. But obviously he's referring to him because in order to educate us, he has to tell it. But out of humility, he would use words like that. Okay, I just wanted to to clarify. All right, so yeah, so that was one major occurrence of how sacred, what blessings that Rinpoche had imbued on the land. All right, and I mean the pujas, the Rinpoche did, the monks and the shu, and then on top of that, the final one was Doji Shukden when he came here, as in through the oracle. I mean Doji Shukden is always here, but when Rinpoche requested Chojala to come and take full trance to 700 people. And I mean, what I mean was the audience of that time. There was invitation sent out, and people came. The amount of people that came was 700, fit into Wisdom Hall. And I mean, you can look on YouTube and see the full trance. So when Doji Shukden was here, he did blessings on the land. How does an oracle, Doji Shukden through an oracle blesses the location? The moment he took trance, he will do a dance. And during the dance, it's called a Vajra dance, okay? So what happens when he do the dance, he will be prostrating himself at 4 locations. So he was prostrating to the Buddhas of all directions, all right? So when he prostrate, and when he do the dance, he'll be wielding the sword and the bow and the arrow. All right. So during that time, it looks an ordinary performance to us because we don't have the eye to see it. We don't have that. We don't have the clairvoyance to see what Doji Shukden is doing. It just looks like he's just dancing. But actually, what he's doing is he's purifying the location, blessing and imbuing the whole place with his energy to bless the location, to consecrate the place. Then on top of that, he went around Wisdom Hall and blessing the main statue of Doji Shukden, and through his assistant, the Kache Mapo, who is also enlightened. And I remember that time because I was assisting. Yes, I know I was there. In case you didn't recognize me, I was about 2 times the size. I was in a suit, my full pastor's uniform. I don't always wear the full pastor's uniform because I'm in Malaysia, so it's pretty hot. So I remember what happened was I had to carry a bowl of rice for the protector to grab and to bless. So the medium for llamas and the oracles and the protector to bless anything is using rice. Traditionally, I think in India they use flowers. I think they use flowers and water. I think, but in Tibet, that flowers is not so easy to procure. So what happens is they use rice more. So so the most spectacular I saw was when the protector consecrated the main Doji Shukden statue, and he requested us to recite Ngaso. Ngaso is a prayer of what? Enthronement. If you do the monthly Doji Shukden puja, at the end of the puja, there's a last part called Ngaso. Okay, I may not pronounce it correct very clearly. It's Nga, Ngasol. Okay, something like that, the spelling in English. But what it is enthronement of Doji Shukden. So during that time when he consecrated, he requested us to recite that prayer, and we did. And what he did was, he grabbed a bunch of rice, and he held a kata, and he placed the bunch of rice into the kata, and he wrapped it into a ball, and he threw it in the air. And the way he did it was very nonchalant, It's like oh, and threw it. And what's amazing was I was observing the whole thing, because I was just really entranced by the whole thing, because I'm so close. I was kind of privileged. I was so close I can see everything. So that ball that he wrapped, the protector wrapped, the oracle wrapped, he threw it. It flew. The whole thing flew to the top, somewhere in the middle. It exploded. The rice came out in a and you can hear the rice raining down from there. So the whole place was covered in a rain of rice. I'll never forget that, because when I look at the whole thing, I mean, as I was observing, it seemed so supernatural for some reason. I can't explain to you better, but it was just not ordinary. Although it is ordinary, I mean, it's nothing special. It's just that the way he did it was so fast. You know, if it's me, right, it would have spilled all over, and it couldn't even fly up enough. So I was just thought it was just so neat. So anyway, my point is he blessed that. He blessed he asked us to consecrate, do the right prayers to consecrate Doji Shuten. The enthronement of Doji Shuten is to request Doji Shuten to reside in the area, in the land, in the house, in the location, in the building. All right. So when Doji Shuten is everywhere, but if you request him to reside, his energy will remain. So what happens is if you ask him more and more, his energy will be stronger and stronger in a location. What happens if Doji Shuten's energy is strong in a location? If you have an altar, it's strong in there, then the statue will come alive. It will show miracles. If it's not an altar, if it's just in a location, the area will be calm, will be blessed, less accidents, no accidents. The energy will be good. The supernatural beings will be happy, and if you're doing Dharma there, you'll be more successful. It'll be quicker to gain results. And if you're doing other endeavors, then you'll be less obstacles. Okay? So, but more importantly, the purpose for Doji Shuten to reside anywhere is for the Dharma to grow. Okay, that's the main purpose. All right? So, that's the reason why we enthrone Doji Shuten every single time we do the puja. Okay, to request Doji Shuten to be there to make the Dharma grow. Whether it's our house, whether it's your building, your office. Yes, we don't really do Dharma there, but you are there, so we can do Dharma even when we do working in an office. All right. Okay. It's interesting. Okay, let me see. There's a lot of things being said here and shared here. Okay, have a look. Okay, I answered this. PDL has spoken about Tsongkhapa retreat. Okay. Thank you for the link, Eric. And Jensen says, Pastor David, Tsem Rinpoche encourages offering of sikkim to Dharma protectors. May I know if the tea offered should be poured away or it can be drank? Thanks. Okay, the offerings in general, what happens is it's better not for us to partake. Better not. You can. I'm not saying you cannot. This is not a can or cannot thing. It is an offering. What is an offering? When you give something and you partake of it, it's like you give and you take back. So, I mean, for our practice, if you want to be more of an advanced practitioner, never offer something and take back. All right. So, what is traditionally done with sikkim is you can taste it. I remember Rinpoche saying it. You can taste it for a blessing, not partake of it. Like you put in your fridge and then you drink it for. You can taste it for a blessing. For a blessing only, because it's considered like the leftover of Doji Shuten. But don't offer things like as in so that you can consume, because automatically it will be at the back of our mind all the time. Oh, I can offer and eat it. I can offer and drink it. So what happens is you really have to ask whether is it an offering to Doji Shuten or to yourself. It will become that over time if you allow yourself that. So I won't give you the answer that can or cannot. It's not a can or cannot. It's up to you. Okay, I'm just telling you why this is a contention all the time is because people think, it's a blessing, so I just take the whole thing and eat it. Then it becomes like, so when you buy you buy something you like, and is it for you or for Doji Shuten? So it's a question you ask yourself and you answer yourself. You decide for yourself, all right? So by tradition, we don't take it and eat it for ourselves. In fact, if you want to eat it, share with people. If you think some people are worried that's a waste, share it with someone. Give it away. I mean, especially like talk offerings and about tea. Usually for me personally, I throw it away. All right, I just taste it and throw it away. Okay. Let me see what's next. Okay, thank you for the link, Sharon, about Jinsei Fire Puja. Very good, very nice. There's a lot, actually. There's a lot of incredible meaning to it. And thank you for the link, Eric. And this is the trance. Thank you for another link, Sharon, again. And Marcus says, yes, the enthronement, where we visualize Doji Shukden being near us to give us the protection as we recite that prayer, if I remember it correctly. It's not so much as Doji Shukden to be near us. Sorry, a slight correction to the way you presented, Marcus. The enthronement is for Doji Shukden to remain in a particular location. I mean, when you do the prayer there, it's obviously, for most people, it will be in front of the altar. So you are requesting Doji Shukden to remain in the altar. Sorry, not the altar itself, but the statue, the image, the tanka, whatever it is you have on your altar. If you don't have that, or even the location, as in the house, the building, the office, or wherever else you're doing the puja. All right, to remain there, for Doji Shukden to remain, for his energy to be there, to remain there. So when you do it a lot, his energy will be stronger and stronger in that location. And that energy will have an effect of the beings in that place to benefit them, to bless them, and ultimately for us to make us do more, to help us to do more Dharma, to purify the obstacles for us to do Dharma, and to make Dharma realizations easier. It is possible, and there are places where we can go, and when we do retreats, it's easier. It will be easier to concentrate, easier because of the energy of the location, especially when you do higher practices. All right, so that's why we're doing it, for Doji Shukden to remain there, for his energy to remain there. Okay, to bless the place and location and beings of that place. Okay. Okay, Andres asks, Tsem Rinpoche's previous incarnation sometimes is the same person if Doji Shukden's previous incarnations is Magada Zangmo. Is it safe to say that Tsem Rinpoche is some... Okay, at this point, this is not an official recognition. I'm not here to officially recognize that. All right, there are cases, there are many lamas and many beings who share the same, because we don't understand fully the workings of an enlightened mind. Okay, it doesn't work linearly like our life, like the way we operate, as in one lifetime or another. Sometimes some minds, enlightened beings, they split. Okay, it's the same being, but it's split into different incarnations. So I'm not here to recognize what you're saying, because I'm not qualified. Okay, I can't give you that kind of recognition. So whatever has been recognized that you know of, all right, it may be that, or it may be something else. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Marcus says, sometimes I would put the Doji Shukden Council on and let it play the whole time in my house. That's what we do in Kechara Forest Retreat, by the way. We have, by the way, this is in following instruction of Rinpoche. We have loudspeakers on. It used to be Manjushri Hill. Now they put on Medicine Buddha Hill, I think. And it blares at a certain hour in the day, in the evening. Okay, I won't say blare, but it plays the puja, the Doji Shukden puja, that is the original recording of Kechara Rinpoche and Ling Rinpoche, I think. Reciting the Doji Shukden Council or the Doji Shukden Puja. So, and completely the musical, the ritual instruments and all that. So we will hear it in the evening, and it's very beautiful because when you walk, you feel like you're in a monastery in Kechara Forest Retreat at that time. Okay, Andre says, the first time I drank it too, I suddenly got sick after that and never did it again. It's your water that you used to boil and make the tea. I had that issue too. Then I realized it's the water because the water that I used, that I boiled, was from the tap, and it's not good, the water. So you just be careful with the water. Yvonne says, Pastor, if you offer black tea at Circum, can we pour it to our plants? Oh yeah, of course, why not? Why not? You bless the place. I think that's a great way. That's an even better way, because for me, I just throw it down the drain, but I should do that. I think I'll do that. I'll follow what you do, what you're suggesting. If you can't hear that, Pastor Nara said, Zaronchi, when he was here in Kechara Forest Retreat, every time he did Circum, whether it's officially for a puja for us or on his own, he would take the black tea and he will pour it onto the land to bless, obviously to bless the land. And Jensen says, thank you, Pastor David. Actually, it's the second time I asked you about Circum offering, but this time around you made it so much clearer. I fully understand now. Thank you. I hope so. Alex says, I take a sip and pour the rest away. Oh, okay, thank you so much. Okay, Marcus say okay, and then Mr. Lam says, thank you. Now I know the meaning behind ngaso in the council. Oh, it almost sounds like a tongue twister rhyme. Ngaso in the council. Okay, never mind. And Chung's puts, okay, it's another link. All right, thank you very much. So in the end, Kechara Forest Retreat, what other things I want to tell you was how it's consecrated, and also one of the last two more things that there's a lot of things actually. I don't have enough time to tell every aspect of Kechara Forest Retreat. I've barely touched about the history in the sense of what happened. I'm just telling you how it's consecrated and the purpose of it. Okay, one other thing is Rinpoche we had a medicine Buddha fountain. Okay, due to COVID, we can't do it personally now, but we collect the water. What happened is there are stones placed in the fountain for the water to go over to get the energy of the stones. And the stones are actually all stones offered by Rinpoche to Chujang Rinpoche, Gangchen Rinpoche, and Doji Shukden, consecrated by them with a specific request for them to imbue the stones with energy, healing energy, blessed energy, so that people, when the water goes over it, it will bless the water and people can use it for healing. All right, that is the express request by, of course, Tsem Rinpoche also did his also consecrated as well. These stones, so it's placed in the fountain and the water is used. So right now, people can actually invite the water and use it for healing, for light consecration of a location. Because you see, to consecrate a location, you can use many things, you know. I mean, for what I'm talking about is for normal people, usually they want to bless a new house, a new car, a new office. You can do it few ways. You can do a puja, make the offering, set up an altar. You can offer sang. What is sang? Sang is juniper incense. And what happened is the incense is not the blessing. It doesn't imbue the blessing. It actually has a quality of purifying. So what happens is it will purify the energy. But on top of that, we place protector rice in it. So the protector rice will invoke the energy of the protector, Doji Shukden, to imbue, as the smoke arises and permeates the whole place, it will bless the location. That's another way. Then another way is after you consecrate, another way is using water, either that's consecrated by in a ritual. But of course, for us, we don't know how to do the ritual. So what happens is we can get the medicine Buddha water. all right, and use it to consecrate the location. That's one way you can do, all right. And sorry, could you do me a favor? Could you get the charger? Sorry, hold on for a moment. I have a technical difficulty because my laptop just went kaput. I just need some help. Sorry about that. I was totally distracted and I forgot about the battery. Thank you very much. Pastor Nara is very helpful. Yes, that's the 3 ways you can consecrate a location. So what I'm trying to tell you is the medicine water you can acquire from here, okay, in Kechara Forest Retreat. And this is on top of the other various ways you can consecrate. And of course, you can use it to sprinkle onto your garden. You can also sprinkle onto your altar. But I don't recommend that so much because onto altar, because the water may make the paint of the statues run, or stain it. So it may not be such a good idea. But yeah. So these are the ways. So that's the other thing that Rinpoche had done for Kechara Forest Retreat to make it available for people. Okay, the other thing is, the last thing that Rinpoche did was the Doji Shukten Grotto. So the main attraction for Kechara Forest Retreat that Rinpoche wishes for us for Kechara Forest Retreat is Doji Shukten. And the main way for people to really be benefited by Doji is not so much as they come and they see and they make a prayer and that's it. It's for them to make a strong way of generating merits. And one of the most powerful way we generate merits is offering candles. Okay, a simple way that doesn't require a lot of knowledge of the puja, ritual, and mantra. So is offering candles. So the Doji Shukten Grotto was Rinpoche's brainchild, his idea for people to offer candles to Doji Shukten, to create the connection to Doji Shukten, to make a request to Doji Shukten, to collect merits, and yeah, for all these. And so the Doji Shukten Grotto was something that was of Rinpoche's plan. I mean, it wasn't just Doji Shukten, but because Doji Shukten is our main attraction for Kechara Forest Retreat. We have for Manjushri, we have for Lama Tsongkhapa, we have for various Buddhas around in Kechara Forest Retreat. All right. Okay, Jensen's asking how's the progress of the Tsem Rinpoche's Relic Incarnation Chapel. It's going on pretty well. It's not so much as the chapel, it's more about the stupa. So we are still awaiting it. It should be arriving, I think, somewhere early next year. So for the stupas to arrive, and then when the stupas arrive, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the sense of filling it in. And then after filling it in, placing, and then cleaning the place, and then bring the incarnation statues in. Each of them have to be filled as well. And then once it's filled, placed, put properly, and then everything is to set up, and then we need to consecrate. I mean, after they're placed and inserted with the mantras and stuff, what happens is the statue itself and the stupa itself need to be consecrated as well. There are pujas to be done. And right now we are already doing pujas, by the way. The people of Kechara Forest Retreat, meaning the staff, pastors, or the various people, practitioners in Kechara Forest Retreat, we are doing prayers every single day, recommended by Khenso Rinpoche, to recite certain mantras, a number of mantras, prescribed mantras, every single day to consecrate the location and the statues and all that. Okay, in the future will be the statues and the stupa, but the location. All right, so this is what is being done right now as we speak, and you will hear more. And then I think someone plays something there. Oh no, that's the healing, the medicine Buddha heal. Yeah, there is actually, if you go on YouTube, there is, maybe someone will post later. There is a video update about the Incarnation Chapel as well, with better descriptions than what I've just given. All right, so we're looking forward to it, especially the outdoor Tsem Rinpoche Stupa. Okay, that will be the highlight of the Incarnation Chapel. Not so much as the chapel and the statue in the Incarnation Chapel, it's the stupa outside, because when we finish the stupa outside, the Tsem Rinpoche Stupa outside, that would mark the completion of Rinpoche's request for us. Okay, he requested for these things. It's not so much as fulfilling just his request, it's the traditions. It's a tradition of that's being done in the past for all students of any Lama, all right, to do in order to build the merits, to generate the merits, to find his unmistaken incarnation. So at that time, I suspect we will have some sort of sign or clue will arise after it's done. All right, so at the moment, some people are already, I mean, I've heard many people questioning already, what, where is Rinpoche's incarnate? Do we have any signs? We will not get until we finish. Okay, so for those of you who are waiting for Rinpoche's incarnation and who is not here, do prayers. Don't take it lightly. The prayers that we do has power. Don't think, oh, because I'm not close to Rinpoche or I've never seen Rinpoche, that your prayers have no energy. It has energy, it has power. As long as you believe, as long as you have the right motivation, then it will have power, it will have blessings. All right. Will there be an official opening ceremony? Obviously, there will be. Lily, there will be. Don't worry. You'll be invited. Don't worry. And hopefully things will be more conducive for travel. Don't worry. Definitely, you will be invited for the opening. Because just bear in mind, the opening will will include lamas that are not from Malaysia. So definitely that time, most likely, you'll be able to travel to Malaysia. So don't worry. All right. So anyway, yeah. So these are what I've just described to you guys was just a few things about Kechara Forest Retreat. About how it's consecrated, how it's founded, the purpose of it, and all that. And ultimately, the future of Kechara Forest Retreat Kechara Forest Retreat will depend on us. Will depend on me. Will depend on you guys. Whether you are here or not doesn't matter actually in the end of the day. It's actually where your heart is. Okay? So for especially, I'm saying this in reference to the people, especially who are overseas, who is listening to me now from Indonesia, Singapore, and England. So as long as your heart is here, meaning your prayers, meaning your own Dharma practice, that you send them your merits, dedicate your merits, it will be just as effective. All right? And volunteering in the kitchen again. How nice. Very nice, very sweet, very warm. And oh yeah, for Australia as well, Marcus. Hopefully I'll finish my studies before then, have another 6 months to go next year. Ooh. Even if you don't come from opening, we'll still be around. Don't worry, the Incarnation Chapel will still be around. Your education is very important. Finish it. You're a young man. That's the foundation of your future. All right, your secular future. Your spiritual future will follow. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. All right. Dishwasher. Cute. So yeah, I think about it, and you can ask me. You have a few more minutes, and you can ask me any question whatsoever, and I'll answer them right now. With regards to the topic today or anything else, and I'll see you next year already. Okay, with regards to this program. Andrew says, I'll pray to Akshobhya statue in Surabaya again for success of care of our stupa project. Thank you very much. Do make some offerings. Thank you. The statue seems to be special. And Jensen asked for the link for the DS Council. Was Pastor Nerossi will send it to you, or he'll put it up. And then thank you very much, Jeffrey. Thank you for your contribution. And I will have to hunt for it. Oh, don't worry about it, Marcus. I think Pastor Nero will help in this. Okay, don't worry about it, Marcus. Okay, so basically this is it. So Kechara Forest Retreat ultimately is Rinpoche's legacy for all of us. Tsem Rinpoche, unfortunately, his time with us was not very long. Okay, but for the time that he was with us, he did tremendously a lot, and I understand why Rinpoche had the time frame for KWPC. Remember, because his time is not short. Sorry, it's not long. So he needed certain things to develop at a certain pace, so that when his time with us is able to be used to the most benefit. So for him to establish an organization, for a whole institution, so this is what was necessary. And obviously it's a planning that's beyond just an ordinary level intellect. It's already to the realm of clairvoyance, in the realm of there's a higher thought, a higher thinking. That's not normal. So in the future, we hope to find Rinpoche's incarnation and continue on his legacy. All right, his legacy, and to establish what Rinpoche has envisioned for Kechara Forest Retreat to be an institution of learning, specifically to preserve the tradition and Buddha Dharma in general, the Buddhist teachings in general, and to encourage people to practice. So, the teachings is one thing. More importantly is the practice. For us who are teaching and sharing and practicing, who is attempting to practice, to actually do the real practice in the future, now and into the future. All right. So thank you very much. And there was last question about the oracle coming back to bless of the completion of the stupa. I have no idea. You might have to ask. Later on, we'll see. The plans will unfold in time. You'll definitely hear about it. Don't worry about it. I would think at the end, it's not so much as the lamas is more important than the oracle. The lamas' blessings is more important than doji. Okay, so when the monks come back, when the Cancer Rinpoche. We're looking forward to his return, along with his other monks and Tsar Rinpoche or whoever else, who is available to come and to help us in the consecration. I think the monks and the lamas are more important at this point. All right. So last question. Okay, there's another one. If Rinpoche's incarnation is found, will he be sent to Ganden, or he will be in Kechara Forest Retreat to train and learn? Okay, this is Rinpoche's express request from us, is for Rinpoche's incarnation to return. Obviously Rinpoche's incarnation return, but for us to find Rinpoche's incarnation and to educate him here. Instead of bring him to Ganden, Rinpoche would like us to invite a qualified teacher, a geshe. A qualified teacher is someone who has gone through the education and who is to come here to teach the young incarnation. And as well, that is for the spiritual education. Rinpoche wants a well-rounded education, meaning spiritual and also secular. And Rinpoche is pretty sure that the incarnation will be able to absorb both very, very quickly. All right. You welcome everybody. Welcome Lily, Jensen, and everyone else. And I hope you've enjoyed your time with me. I mean, not just this episode, but all the previous episodes. And they're all available on YouTube. All right, so you're able to view it. And this episode, even I will load everything up. And you can always ask me personally if you know me, or if you can write and comment. I will try to look at it often to see your questions. All right, thank you very much. This episode, we have a number of sponsors that I would like to read out. Sponsor number one is Mr. Lam and family with dedication. His Eminence Tsem Rinpoche returned to Kechara Forest Retreat to turn the Dharma wheel again. Then there is another sponsor by name of Xia He Wei. Oh, it's He Wei. With the dedication, may Rinpoche swiftly return back to KFR. May I have merits to meet and assist Rinpoche in this life and all my lifetimes. May all Kecharians have the merits to assist Rinpoche for his Dharma works and teachings to reach and benefit the world. Then there is an anonymous sponsor with dedication. May His Eminence Tsem Rinpoche swiftly return to Kechara, and may all sanctioned beings be blessed with health, gain realization and transformation. Another anonymous sponsor says, with the dedication, may Rinpoche's reincarnation be found swiftly and return to Kechara again to turn the wheel of Dharma. Another anonymous sponsor, may His Eminence, the 25th Tsem Rinpoche's incarnation, return to Kechara Forest Retreat soon. Thank you very much, everybody. And I hope that I continue to keep the flame of Rinpoche's memory, blessings, and teachings alive through this program and with you. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Janju Sencho Rinpoche, Make Panagi She, Keba Yamame Payang, Koneko Power Show, Tony Tonga Rinpoche, Make Panagi She, Keba Yamame Payang, Koneko Power Show, Dazo Genesa Bagewadi, Tanandroa Kunlanka Pada. Jozo Lozon Trabai, Tamping Purin, Sa She, Kewa Gundoyana Lamadan, Dremi Joki Pala Long Choche, Sada Lanki on Terrachone, Doji Changi Kopang Yoto, Show, Gewadi Yododa, Lama Sangi Jukun, Juachi Malupa, De Salagopa, Jiji Jabo, Sonkaba, Chozonama Pewa. Yeki Shamachi Wadan, Tuni Mawachan Show, Dada Shengi Dozundan, Jiwash Latini, Yawa Lozon Trapai, Tampang Yurimba, Yushi, Nimo Della Centella, Nimi Goyan Delection, Yasanta to Delepa, Contraso Jingulo, Contraso in Motoso, Contraso Tashi Show, Jason Lama Kutso Rapton Ching, Namkachin Lijo Kipada, Los Antami join Samsung, Drumonso Tato Negus, Gandri Rawiko Shingam, Pendant Dewa Malukoin, Chenresic 1000 Gasoi, Sharpie City Badu Dangushi. Home topping or Dromalupa, then the dollar said so. Koran Temple Lochona, Geba, Soji, shook themselves. Thank you, everybody, and good night.